because common ground is that key, you know, the key, the key ingredient, if you will, for us to feel connected to other people, right? So when you find common ground, what will happen is that other people will look at you and they will say, hey, he or she is one, you know, one of mine, right? He or she is a member of my tribe. And the more you are thinking about that, the more aware you will be of how often you actually do that, not just monthly or weekly, but daily, right? And here's something very important. When you find common ground and you are identifying people of a tribe of, you know, I like drinking wine, you like drinking wine, what happens is that your brain is thinking a certain thought, and that is that you think, oh, I am like you. And vice versa, that person will think, oh, I am like you too. And see, what we need to understand is the way our brain is processing that thought is fascinating, because it is nothing else but I like you. I am like you is equal to I like you. It is how likability works. And if you have a friend who is just like, raise a hand if you have that. I want to see how many people will say yes to this. If you have a friend who is like always likable, he walks in the room and everybody loves him. We have these people. The only thing that this friend is good at is finding common ground with people. That is also what the, you know, famous Bill Clinton did in terms of making people heard. He listened. He had a huge amount of curiosity. He showed that very genuinely, and he looked for common ground. All right. So how do we do this common ground thing? Well, there are two types to think about, right? Number one is the low likelihood common ground, but the strong connections, right? It's this very unique, specific stuff that we all have inside of us, right? So for example, if you want to find common ground with me, that is like if you've participated in a 10-day meditation retreat, in, you know, a silent meditation retreat in a Buddhist monastery in Thailand, you and I would have something very powerful in common, because it is a very bonding experience, right? But there's other things like home birthing for some, or brewing beer. It's sort of this unique stuff. Very powerful, but unfortunately not very useful, because we don't have it that often. If you do have it that often, and you will be all nodding, it actually feels exceptionally bonding. So looking for that doesn't hurt, but it's very hard to find it. The second thing is basically the high likelihood of a tribe, but a bit of a weaker connection. Those are ones worthwhile really aiming for, because you know, they're easier. They're more the broader interest, more the common one. And of course, this is a spectrum where you can have, you know, number 2 to number 1. There's all sorts of stuff in the middle. But the weaker connection ones are basically like hiking. I would argue that if you look in your network right now, of all the people you know, 60% of them probably enjoy hiking. Right? So that's a tribe that a lot of people belong to, that you can basically illuminate and find out, right? It could be college football, it could be all of those things, right? So long story short, when you have these conversations, literally make a cognitive effort of trying to find these common grounds, dig them out. They're more powerful than most people think.